With us now is Congressman Pete Sessions, a Republican from Texas who was on the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, I don't know if you just heard, we heard from Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney who said basically that she has been scapegoated for years. She was convicted of conspiring to sexually abuse minors with Jeffrey Epstein. How much do you trust what she says?
Well, it's always easy when you're sitting in jail for 20 years to be unhappy. But she was convicted. She had her time in court, and she had that opportunity. It seems like to me that she acts like she wants to reset the record away from testimony that was given that convicted her in the first place. So it holds very little water to me.
What are you comfortable? Because we have now learned that Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, is going in for a second day of questioning. That's a lot of questions from a very high Justice Department official. What are you comfortable with the Department of Justice offering or setting as ground rules for this discussion?
Well, John, I think it's pretty apparent to me that there are that the people at Maine Justice that are looking at this recognize that there are at least three distinctly different jurisdictional issues here. One, overseas, the island. Number two, Miami. Number three, which would be New York. And that putting together this compilation is evidently being done because they want her to allow the testimony, or at least the transcripts of those, to be released to the public. Perhaps that tells a story. I don't know whether it's one case, one jurisdiction, but they're after the judge. They want the judge to see that there's confirming data and information. And I'm sure they'll ask her, do you have a problem with this information being released? And if she consents, then it makes it easier for the judge to abide by the release of the data. And that's what the Department of Justice is after.
I understand. Congressman, are you comfortable with offering her anything for this cooperation or questioning?
Well, of course not. The facts of the case. The facts of the case should be known and understood by the hundreds of hours of tapes that the Department of Justice or the FBI has within their purview. And that's the essential question. The Department of Justice has already cataloged things. They already have things down. Did they make a client list? I don't know. Did they make a list of the people who were there? I'm sure the U.S. Attorney did 15 years ago. And this is the conclusion that people want. This is a heinous crime that is being hidden under the vestiges of our system, and the system needs to know it's now time to come out.
Is it a hoax? Because the president has called it a Democratic hoax.
Well, let me just say this. I don't think the president is as implicated as some would want him to be. This has resided during the entire Obama administration, during the entire Biden administration. If there was there, if something would have happened. I think that what we're trying to do is to protect, or someone or a group of people who are very powerful who do not want to be outed. And I think that this is a review that the Attorney General Bondi should probably understand. And I just don't know how going back to a convicted felon and trying to develop this is important when you have the data in front of you. So I don't know why they're meeting with her, except to gain her acceptance. Okay, it's okay to release the data.
You just brought up a very important point. There's nothing that indicates any wrongdoing by President Trump or then citizen Donald Trump in anything connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And I know you believe that, and we certainly have no reason to believe it and haven't seen any reporting on it. So if that's the case, would you support the Department of Justice? Would you ask the Attorney General, just release all the mentions of Donald Trump in the files? If there's no proof or no suggestion he did anything wrong, why not just release where his name comes up?
Well, I hope that this and I'm trying to be forthright, I don't think this about Donald Trump. I think it is about a group of people who colluded together with either money. We need to know, were they paying Jeffrey Epstein money to do these? Who gave him the loans to buy the islands? What was he paid? Where did that money come from? This is child exploitation in a graphically huge way. And the American people and Republicans want this evidence, even if a name's not associated with the facts of the case, to come out so that law enforcement and people who are wives and mothers and grandfathers like myself would understand the game that was played, that they by and large got away with. At least the facts of the case, if not the names. And I'm not sure that I'm here saying out every person, but the game that went on, the Department of Justice should have their hands around. The data, the hundreds of hours of tapes, the Department of Justice should have their hands on. We should know who has custody of that. There are a lot of questions related to the chain of custody, the data and the information, and the methods of operation that were used, so that law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and people have an idea about how this was perpetrated. Yes, I think we do need to know that, and that deals little with exactly who and more to what did they do, how did they operate, and how did they evade this for so many years under the grasp of federal law enforcement.
Congressman Pete Sessions, you are part of the Oversight Committee that could very well be looking into some of these questions. Thank you for your time this morning.